everybody. We'll get started in just a couple of minutes or a minute or so. I will be right back. Oh, if you have a block or towel and a strap type thing, maybe grab those. We'll have options to use them. Obviously, if you don't have one, don't worry about it and just get ready to do some yoga in a minute or so. All right, everybody. I was running around my house looking for a hair tie, and I wasn't running around my house. Anyway, I don't really want to talk to you guys about that. Hi, let's start over. My name is Dr. Debbie Pates, and I am going to lead you through some yoga here today as a joint offering from the University of Colorado Springs Wellness Center, where I work as a staff psychologist, and an offering of the Gallery of Contemporary Arts, which is located on campus. And in non-COVID situations, we have the wonderful privilege of being able to practice in the gallery. I don't want to say under normal circumstances because I'm not really sure what normal looks like anymore. I was thinking earlier about this phrase that I heard: man plans, God laughs. I guess we could make that more PC and say people plan and God laughs. And I think that's been the story of 2020, and it's also the story of me sweeping my floor so I don't get distracted by the dirty floor, and then the wind gust sweeping a plant down, and you should see my floor. But I'm actually glad you can't, and wow, it seems like I'm on a random tangent today. I'm going to start teaching some yoga. How about that? Let's come on into child's pose. And so if you want to spread your knees and get more into your hips, you can do that. Or keep your knees together and you're going to round your low back a little bit more. So whatever feels the best for you today. And if you have your back rounded, I don't want to keep my head on the ground because you probably can't hear me. If you have your knees together, perhaps you have your hands alongside your body with your palms facing up, which is also known as Bija pose, seed pose. And whichever version of child's pose you decided to take, let your head rest on the mat or perhaps on your hands or the block if that's more accessible to you. But drop your head down, drop your brain, and start to tap into your breath. Start to breathe consciously, deliberately, as if your life depended on it. Of course, your life does depend on your breath, but we don't normally have to think about breathing, it just happens. But when we become aware of our breath, we actually can more deliberately use the breath to enhance the quality of our life. So in Sanskrit, breath is prana, and the breathing exercises is called pranayama. Yama is a discipline. So it's disciplining the breath. And but I would say I'm not really talking about disciplining the breath. I'm talking more about noticing the breath. Yeah. So first we notice the breath, and then we are able to control it, right? So anxious people tend to breathe more quickly, for example. And so if you notice your breath is shallow and quick, then you can engage pranayama, breath control, to deepen the breath and even out your mood state. And that's one of the reasons why we teach breathing in yoga, why we emphasize breathing in yoga, right? So that you can, even through the ups and downs of the practice, remain calm through using the breath. And who cares how calm you stay during yoga, but it's a tool, a place. The mat is this really safe place to practice staying calm in difficult moments, so that we can take that skill off the mat into our lives where it really might matter. Push up onto your hands and knees. Cat-cows. So on an inhale, drop your stomach, lift your gaze, tailbone, and on an exhale, round your spine, chin to chest, tuck your tail, and continue doing this on your own with your breath. And again, as always, I just gave you this whole little lecture about breathing, but when I say inhale and exhale, there is logic to where the breath cues are placed, but if they don't work for you, then don't worry about them. Just use my cues as a reminder to breathe. Come on back to a neutral spine. And let's do a little spinal balancing. So extend your right hand, palm facing, thumb facing up, palm facing in, and then extend your left leg. And make a choice. Do you want to flex your foot and push through your heel, or do you want to point your foot and reach through your toes? But either way, you're reaching, you're extending, you're getting length from fingertips down your spine, through your heel or your toe. And then put that down, and same thing other side. First, find your stability here, right, on your hands and knees, and then extend your left hand, thumb facing up, palm facing in. And then when you're ready, right leg reaches out. Your fingers continue to reach forward as you reach out through either your heel or your toes of your right leg. And notice, maybe there's some balance happening here. There is balance happening here, but maybe there's some challenge already with the balance. Maybe you're finding a little bit of a shake or whatever. Let it be. Find calmness there. Release and switch again. Right arm, left leg rather. Right arm, left leg. Here, reach, and then we're going to add a tuck and curl kind of thing. So inhale, exhale, curl, knee to elbow, chin comes in. Extend back out. Inhale, exhale, tuck and curl. Inhale, reach. Last time, tuck, curl, reach out. And now bend your left leg, reach back with your right hand. Try to continue to have your thumb facing up. And grab your foot from the inside. So even if you have to grab with your thumb facing down on the big toe side, if you can, walk your hand over the top of your toes. Why? Because now you can kick into your hand and get a really nice shoulder opening. Almost even a little twist if you want here. Maybe you feel this across the top of your right thigh. Just noticing where you do feel it. Hopefully not too much in your left shoulder, yeah? And then release, extend, put it down, and switch. Right leg out, left hand out. Reach, extend, really engage here. And then tuck and curl, exhale. Reach, open like a flower, and then close, exhale. Some flowers close at night. Inhale, reach. Third time, exhale, curl. Reach out, bend your right knee, reach back with your left hand, and grab your foot, getting to the pinky side so that you can, if you can, it's a suggestion, so that you can kick into your hand and open your left shoulder. Breathe. Breathe. Notice changes in the breath, right? If you're feeling tension, the breath does get a little bit shorter. So you can still breathe deeply, or you can decide maybe I need to back off. Release, extend, put your hand and your knee down, and let's come on into down dog. So maybe walk your hands a little bit more forward. Actually, let's start coming to plank. Walk your hands forward, shift forward, right here from child's pose. So you're shifting forward so that your shoulders are over your wrists, but your knees are still on the ground. So a lot of times when I say you can do this with your knees on the ground, this is pretty much exactly what I mean, okay? Or tuck your toes and lift your knees off plank position. You might have to make some adjustments, but what you want is your body in a long, straight line, hands underneath your shoulders. So you might notice my hands are actually, let's do this, it's a core challenge. Walk your hands forward. You're not going to feel as stable. I have this piece of cable I want to move out from under my mat. You're not going to feel as stable, but what you're doing is you're engaging a lot of muscle here and challenging your core even more than normal in a plank position. Again, you can even do this with your knees on the ground. But okay, let's come back to regular plank. So have your hands underneath your shoulders, directly underneath your shoulders. Your heels are pushing back unless your knees are on the ground. And if your knees are on the ground, lift them up now. We're going to come into downward facing dog. So without moving your hand position or your foot position, at least to start with, lift your hips up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So this is a nice wide down dog here. You can walk your feet back or your hands forward and create even less stability. Actually Baron Baptiste likes to teach that, to teach an unstable down dog. If I could remember why, I would tell you. I don't remember why. But when I'm doing this right now, I am noticing more core engagement. Some people, like Ashtanga Yoga, actually teaches a shorter down dog. And for a lot of us, it's easier to get your heels toward the ground in a shorter down dog. I prefer the one I taught you where if you shift forward, your shoulders are going to be over your wrists. But you pick. Find a down dog, not a down dogma, right? Step out of the dogma of the practice. Take a bunch of baby steps. Walk to the top of your mat. Hang and ragdoll. So feet about hip width distance, knees as bent as you want them to be, probably a little soft for most of us. And if you're one of those people who it's easy for you to have your legs straight and bend over, be careful not to hyperextend. You don't want to kind of push your legs out in the opposite direction, like bending your knees backwards, sort of. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Let your neck be soft. Let your head be heavy. Let your shoulders drop down. You can bend your elbows and tuck your hands and crook of opposite elbow if you like that. You can just let your hands hang. You can sway back and forth a little bit, whatever feels good to you. And then make a choice. Do you want your feet hip width distance or do you want your feet together? And roll up to standing. We're going to start moving into sun salutations. But roll up slowly. We're not in a hurry to get there. Let your head be last. And then when you get to standing, roll your shoulders up and back and down. Roll them a couple of times. Let it feel good. And then roll your shoulders up and back and keep them open. Keep your heart open. But notice if you're poking out your low ribs here, that's something I always do. So keep your heart open, your shoulders back, your palms shining forward. But maybe tuck your low ribs in a little bit. Breathe. Feel yourself standing tall. Engage your quadriceps. Lift your kneecaps. Imagine that somebody was gently pulling the crown of your head. Just if you have hair, taking some hair real gently and pulling it up. Even if you don't have hair now, you probably did at one point. Pulling you up, extending your spine, getting some extra length there. And feel yourself standing here tall. And perhaps for a moment, come to a space of thinking about something you like about yourself. Something you like about having done, or something you feel proud of, something that went well for you. And standing tall here, embrace that, feel it, embody that. Lift your arms up. Kind of your arms are in a V overhead. And think about that thing that you did, that thing you like about yourself. Own it, embrace it. It's okay to like yourself. Bring your hands together and pull that self-love energy into your heart. Surya Namaskar A. Let's go. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen your spine. Keep your gaze on the ground so that your neck is neutral. Forward fold. Put your hands down, one on either side, one underneath your shoulders is what I meant. Step your feet back to high plank. Inhale, in high plank. These are on the floor if you want. Exhale. Halfway or all the way, chaturanga or laying on the floor. Upward facing dog or cobra. Pull your heart through and your shoulders back, almost as if you were trying to crawl, almost like, not crawl, but like drag your body forward. And then come on, lift your hips over your toes, downward facing dog. Breathe. Breathe, breathe. Push your hands into the ground. Bring your heels closer to the ground if they're not on the ground. Engage your quadriceps. Push back through the backs of your knees. Look in between your hands. Step to the top of your space. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Sweep up. Rise with a flat back. Bring your hands together over your head and pull back into your heart. Always leading with your heart. Inhale your arms up. Forward fold. Half lift. Hands down. Step back. High plank. Chaturanga. Up dog or cobra, downward facing dog. Inhale, exhale. Step to the top of your space. Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Forward fold. Sweep up, rise. Hands overhead, together, into your heart. One more time. Up, down, inhale, exhale, take it back, and down, inhale, exhale. Look in between your hands. Step to the top of your space, halfway lift, inhale, exhale, forward fold, sweep up, rise, hands together, and into your heart, sweep your arms up. Bend your knees, chair, Utkatasana. Also called awkward pose, fierce pose. Get fierce in this pose. Reach your hands, wherever your hands are. Get active. Get active in your feet. You should be able to look down and see your toes, and then maybe lift your toes up. And the weight's more in your heel, and your stomach is engaged, your back is engaged. This is a fierce, powerful pose, and then forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold, bend your knees, chair pose again. Inhale, stand up, and bring your hands together, and bring your hands into your heart. Inhale your arms up. Chair, breathe, inhale, moving into sun B, exhale. Halfway lift, lengthen, fold, step back, high plank. Lower chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, and then exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to do a mandala flow. Lift your right leg up. We're just going to go right into it. Step forward, low lunge. Spin your back foot flat and rise, warrior one. So I'll show you the flow one time on each side, and then, let's just go right into it. You guys can handle it. And if you mess up, you're at home, nobody else is going to see. Warrior one. But first we're going to land in each of the poses, right? So back foot is at a 45-ish degree angle. You're trying to bend your front knee, your right knee, as much as you can here. Keeping your knee and ankle in line with each other to protect your joints. And then keeping your right knee tracking outward, open up in the warrior two. Reach your right arm forward, your left arm back. Engage your right inner thigh so that you're really feeling active. Engage your arms, your triceps, the muscles in the back of your arms are really working here. Your shoulders are engaged, but hopefully they're not hunched up by your ears. Yeah, your shoulders are engaged, but they can still be relaxed. And then from here, reach forward and take extended side angle. Bring your right hand down somewhere on your right leg and lift your left arm up. You can lift your left arm straight up, or you can have your bicep by your ear and your arm reaching. Whichever one you prefer, whichever one feels good to you. But choose and then land. So this first time through before we flow. And then from here, listen up, this is where it gets different. Straighten your right knee, come standing, turn both feet forward and parallel, called star. Your arms are reaching up, 5-pointed star. Hand, hand, foot, foot, and your head. 5-pointed star, and then warrior two to the back of your neck. So your left foot turns forward, your right foot turns in a little bit. Your left knee is bending, heel and knee in a line. And then flip your left palm, reverse your warrior. Keep your left knee bending, but reach back deliciously with your left hand. Maybe your right hand is on your right thigh, No weight, just hanging out. Maybe it's behind your back. And then windmill your hands down to the back of your mat. Come up on your right toes, step back, high plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog to downward facing dog. So a mandala is a circle. I'll talk more about that later. Lift your right leg up. Yep, right side again. I meant that. Step forward. Spin your foot flat. Warrior one. Open. Warrior two. Reach. Extended side angle. 5-pointed star. Arms up, legs straight. And then warrior two. Back to the front of your mat. Reverse your warrior, inhale, and then windmill down. Step back, high plank, chaturanga, up dog, the downward facing dog. And now, we'll do the other side. Lift your left leg. Bend your knee and bring it through, low lunge. Come on up into warrior one. Spin your right foot flat. And rise. Ooh, you might lose your balance a little bit. So this time we'll do it slowly, and then we'll do the second one at a quicker pace. So really push into your foot, get your right hip point facing forward. If that feels okay to your back, arms reaching up, lower body grounding, and then open warrior two. So you don't want your right hip point facing forward anymore. You want it opening up as best as you can. Breathe. Feel yourself up. Warrior, reach forward and extend. Left arm down. Right arm either up or bicep by your ear. Whichever one works for you. Doesn't matter. But just let it feel good. Explore your body. And then come on up, 5-pointed star. Warrior two to the back of your mat. Right foot points. Flip your right palm. Reverse your warrior. This is the slow one, so get juicy with it. Get juicy with it. Stretch your body. Open your body. Enjoy being embodied. Windmill down. High plank. Chaturanga. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Lift your left leg. Bend your knee, bring it through. This will be the quicker one. Warrior one. Warrior two. Reach, extended side angle, 5-pointed star. Warrior two, back to the front of your mat. Reverse warrior, and take it down. High plank, low plank, up dog, downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, bring your big toes into touch and spin your heels to the right. Stack your feet. Vasisthasana, side plank. Lift your left arm up. If you prefer, put your right knee on the ground. I like to come into this from down dog because your hips are already up. So it really helps set you up for the rainbow pose. And then lift up your foot. And if you can, grab your foot. If you can't grab your foot, maybe grab your knee. And then look down and bring your foot around. Drop your right knee. Bring your left hand into the inside of your foot and come on into runner's lunge. So if you can bend your elbows and put your elbows on the floor. You can lay your whole body down on the floor. You can bend your elbows and put them on the block if you would like. Or you could just hang out without bending your elbows at all. So breathe and enjoy being in this pose. And then we're going to do a version of the posture we did on our hands and knees in a bit. But first, just be here. Be here. Be here now. Because what other time do you have to be here besides now? Now, I don't mean be in your, I don't mean literally here, like, well, I could be in my living room anytime I want. Well, sure, yeah, you could, especially now, right? Because everything's probably shutting back down again. But what I mean is this moment. Be here now. Be here now. So check in. Check in with your head. That could be mentally, that could be cognitively, that could be you had a headache, physically, somatically. Check in with your jaw, your eyeballs, your cheeks, your nose. Check in with your throat. Check in with your toes. Check in with your knee. You know, pad the knee if your knee's like, yeah, check in with me. All right, you might need to pad the knee for this if you didn't already. If you're on your elbows or anywhere except on your hands, come on up. And we're going to bend. You might need to scoot your front foot in and drop ID. What we're going to do here is bend the back knee, reach back. So you're bending your right knee, reach back with your left hand, grab the foot. So again, I'm grabbing my foot on the big toe side with my thumb down because that's what's most accessible to me. But I'm going to walk it over the top of my foot so that I'm on the pinky toe side, thumb up. And as you can see, to get here, I just scrunch up a lot. But then lean back into your front knee. Kick into your hand. I'm leaning on my right hand and roll open. So you got a twist, and the quads stretch, and a little bit of balancing. Really opening up in that right quad. Breathe. So breathe. Ooh, breathe into the intensity. Release without slamming your foot down. Put your left hand back down and step back into a plank position. And then your choice. Either go through the vinyasa or simply lift your hips right up into downward facing dog. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to spin around. So bring your big toes into touch and drop your heels this time to the left. You're in down dog. Bring your big toes to touch. Drop your heels to the left. Stack your feet. Lift your right arm. Knee can be on the ground if you want. And first land here, right? So you know where we're going, but we're here now. So be here now. Get it while you can. Get it while you can, people. Limited time offer. Lift your foot up. Grab your foot if you can. Grab your knee if you can. Pause. And then look down. Place your foot down. Bring your hands to the inside of your right foot. Drop your left knee. Toe heel your right foot up a bit. And then come on down to your degree. Just do this side. Sorry, I'm thinking this through, and I'm thinking, did we just do this side? No, we're good. Okay, we're good. Sorry, that was a little brain fart there. So hey, carry on with what you were doing. Carry on. Hands inside your foot. Breathe. Notice that in this posture, right, as intense as it might be, it's a static pose. But that doesn't mean stuff's not coming up for you, but you can breathe. And it's the breath that helps us stay steady. It's the breath that helps us stay present, right? So be here now is not a thing for the breath. The breath always is here now. And so what a lovely and convenient tool to use to come to the present moment. The breath, which is in the present moment anyway. You know, and your breath isn't like, wow, I wonder how good I'm going to be doing tomorrow. And your breath isn't like, boy, oh boy, I sure did a bad job yesterday. Now, I mean, if you were running and you had like an asthma attack yesterday, you might be thinking your breath did a bad job, but your breath is just breathing. Right this minute, right here now, you know? All right, let's take that twist. So toe heel your foot back in a little bit if that's what works the best for you. And bend your left knee, reach back with your right hand, grab the foot, and then open back up again. Lean into your right knee and roll open your right shoulder. First time I saw somebody roll open in this posture, I didn't think I would be able to do it, and I tried it and I could. So, right, you might have heard the saying, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So I didn't think I could, but I tried it. So there's a little twist there, I guess, is even if you don't think you can, maybe give it a try. Have an open mind. Breathe, especially if this is really intense, breathe. And then release. Bring your hand down. Step back into high plank. And then make a choice, chaturanga or just downward facing dog. But either way, let's get to down dog and meet there. And then drop your knees. Come onto your knees, we'll do camel. So maybe walk to the center of your space and stand up onto your knees. Heel, so notice your knees and your hips are in line here. And bring your hands onto your low back. You can tuck your toes if you want. That makes reaching back to grab your heels a little more accessible. And begin to lift your heart, squeeze your elbows together behind you. Keep your heels, hips, and your knees in line. And start to trace your gaze across the ceiling or the sky if you're outside. And if you want to reach back and grab your heels, do so, keeping your hips over your knees. So that it's a heart opener, not a quad stretch. And then bring your hands back to your low back if you took them off. Come on up, untuck your toes, you don't have to if you want, and sit down on your knees. And bring your knees together, and let's take seed pose. So allow your hands to come alongside your body, palms up, and simply roll down and place your forehead on the mat. Don't worry about where your hips are. Let your head rest. Let your back round. Seed pose. Like a seed, we have everything that we need in us already to grow into exactly who we're supposed to be. We just need to find the right conditions to do that. You know, some seeds need a little more water than others. Some seeds prefer sun or shade. But every one of them has the ability to grow into exactly what they're supposed to be, whether it's some big giant cactus-y thing or a rose or a tulip or an acorn, an oak. All right, roll back up and just come on to standing. So however you want to get to standing. And we'll do some balancing postures. I'd like to do dancer with and without the strap. So if you have a strap, tie, towel, etc., please pick that up right now. And what we're going to do, I'm picking up my water bottle and take a sip of water here, is first time we'll do dancer with the strap. If you've been practicing with me a while, you've done this before. So what we're going to do is take the strap, shift your weight into your left foot. And you don't, if your strap has a loop already made, good, you can use it, but otherwise just make a grabby part. Loop your strap around. Hook it over, right now, hook it over the ball of your foot or the arch of your foot, and then shift the weight completely into your left foot. Bend your right knee directly straight behind you, and bring your hands above head. Your biceps are by your ears. And you want to try to have your elbows together. So I'll try to back up here so you guys can see me. Right? You want to have your elbows together or together-ish. And you're trying to allow your knee to track straight back. And someday, maybe, you would be able to grab the foot. That's the complete version of this pose. But since it's inaccessible to most of us, we play around with the strap to just try to approximate it. And then whenever you're ready, release and we'll switch sides. So put the loop over your left foot, shift weight into your right foot, bring your knees together to start, and then bend your left knee. Bring the strap up, your biceps are by your ears, both hands grabbing the strap. And you can track your knee back. Try to let it track straight back. Notice how much this is a back bend, as it is at the same time a balancing posture. Try not to hold your breath. People hold their breath a lot in balancing poses, which actually makes them harder. Breathe. This is not a panic situation. Whenever you're ready, release. Shake it out. Do a little dance in your house. I'm pretending that I'm not actually on a camera right now. I'm just dancing like nobody's watching. Which if I were really dancing like nobody's watching, I would be dancing like that. It would be better. Okay. Dancer on the other side. Dancer back to the other side, but do it regular this time. So inhale your arms up. Bring your right elbow to your right rib cage. You could do it with the strap again if you like. Drop your hand down. Same thing, thumb up. Grab your foot from the inside, knees together, and begin to kick back. Allowing the kick to open up your shoulder. Letting your left hand reach forward. So it's kind of a counterbalance to the right hand. Please breathe here. Please separate your teeth. Don't clench. Don't clench your left toes on the mat. And then just go. And when you're ready, release and rotate. Left elbow by your left rib cage. Lift your left foot up and grab it. And then kick your knee straight back. Open your shoulder, reach forward. Let the breath be generous. Let your face be soft. And your breath be huge. Let your toes be wiggly. And when you're ready, let it go. All right, let's do a tree pose. I just gave you this whole little seed lecture. So think about, bring your big toes into touch here, and just take a moment and stand tall, kind of like what we did at the beginning. You can even go through some of that, rolling your shoulders up and back and down. And take a nice deep breath, stand up tall, and then think about, I don't know if you have a favorite plant or a favorite tree, maybe something that's really pretty that's blooming outside right now that even if it's not your favorite, you see it every day. And let's take tree pose. But I invite you to embody some of that energy of whatever that living thing is. And actually, if I look out my window right now, I see my neighbor's daisies. So I think I'm going to do tree pose and be a daisy. Hey, just like our daisy. Cool, I didn't even think about that. All right, shift your weight into your left, left foot if you can without falling over. It's windy, my daisies are blowing around. So I think I'm gonna keep my right toes on the ground today. And be your flower, be your tree. Go on, grow into it. Whatever way works for you today. And if you have your toes on the ground, it doesn't make you a bad person. Maybe in fact it makes you a good person because you're adjusting to what your body's asking for you today. Not that you have to have your toes on the ground. What you might benefit most from doing is what's best for your body today. And what's best for your mind today too. Right? So don't jack yourself up worrying about balancing. You can put your toes on the ground and get all the same benefits from the posture. And maybe even more if having your toes on the ground allows your mind to soften. If you've never tried it, maybe try it. It's kind of liberating. And then whether your foot is up or down, toes on the ground, maybe your sole of your foot's on your thigh, wherever it is, release it. Shake it out. Come on into the other side. Be your daisy, be your tree. On the right foot, just go. Breathe. So in a balance and posture, focusing on one unmoving thing is usually helpful. That's called our drishti, our gaze. And I love that analogy of focusing on one thing. To really nail it, focus on one thing. We glorify multitasking, and maybe that means we're just not really paying attention to anything. Or enough attention. Wherever you are in your tree, breathe. And then release. Bring both feet to the ground. Inhale your arms up. Chair. And let's do a standing figure 4. So bring your right ankle on top of your left knee. We'll do this twice, once with the arm balance option. Right ankle on top of left knee. And then bring your hands to your heart. Maybe you bow forward. All of these are just options. Maybe you bow forward and bring your forearms to your left shin. Maybe if, like me, you're balance challenged today, or, God, I'm balance challenged every day. You want to bring your hands to a block. Stick your butt out, right? Stick your butt way out here. You can also grab onto the calf of your standing leg, if you've got the balance for that today. So actually I think next round of this, I'll give you the option for an arm balance or a twist. I mean, you have the option to do whatever you want, but I'll talk you through those two. All right, opening up the right hip, the right thigh. Let it feel good. So this is a version of pigeon pose, right? Same big muscle groups there. And then stand up, and we'll switch sides. So come on into chair pose, and then bring your left ankle on top of your right knee. Hands can come into your heart, out forward. Whatever version of this you want. Hands can be on the block, your standing calf. Hands can stay at your heart. Just breathe. Breathe into whatever you're experiencing. So it's not about, I don't like what I'm experiencing. I mean, there are certainly poses, postures, shapes we put our bodies in that feel better than others. There are emotions that feel better than others. But just because, let's say, we feel sad or discontent, we don't need to change it. We breathe into it and accept it. And then release. Come on up. So I'm going to give you two options here. I can't demonstrate the twist because I can't actually do the twist. I'll try to demonstrate the arm balance for you guys. But so come on into chair and put your right ankle on the top of your left knee. And then come down. So if you wanted to do the balance, the twist rather, what you would do is you would bring your right elbow. I'll show you this with me hanging on to my furniture. You bring you're in this posture, right? You bring your right elbow to the heel, the arch rather of your right foot, and you take the twist that way. But I just can't do that. So I'll do what I can sort of do, which is the arm balance, Ekapada Galavasana. So you would come, your left ankle's on top of your right knee, and what you're going to do is you're going to bring the backs of your arms onto your right shin. Hook the outside of your left arm with your right foot. Chaturanga arms, shift your weight forward and lift your left foot off the ground. Really hook that with your foot there, and then if you can, you straighten your left leg. Or you just hold the basic pose. And then when you're ready, release and we'll switch sides. So your choice, the basic pose, the twist, the arm balance, or sitting and watching me fall all over the place or going and getting a drink, whatever you want to do. Chair pose, left ankle, top of right knee, and so again, if you want to do the twist, left elbow in the arch of your left foot, or, you know, I'm going to do it this way so that you guys, I really want you guys to be able to see me grabbing my arm there with my foot, if you want to look. Because that's the key, the kind of lock, actually, not the key, the lock in this pose, right? So I'm locked in here. That allows me to lift up, straighten up my right leg here. Just gives a lot more stability. I haven't done that in a while. All right, so whenever you're done, I'm gonna check my time here. Oh, time flies. Okay. So, you know what, let's make our way into pigeon. We just did a hip opener. I can't even see my face. We just did a hip opener. Now let's do everybody's favorite hip opener, pigeon. Come to the top of your mat and inhale your arms up. If you even reach back a little bit and then forward fold. Half lift, lengthen. Hands under your shoulders, step back. Make your way to downward facing dog. And then from downward facing dog, bring your right knee behind your right wrist. Drop your left knee. Walk it back a little bit. And come on down, your version of pigeon. So you have a block, maybe you have a block. If you have a block, you can always rest your head on the block, on your hands, on the floor. Slowing down, come back to breath. Maybe allowing the breath to be so deep that you feel your back rising, your rib cage expanding on your inhale. Filling up your entire torso, stomach, chest, ribs. And other side. So make your way back to down dog, or you can just swing your legs around. Left knee behind, left wrist. Pigeon pose. I'm going to be quiet for a few breaths. Don't worry, I'm still here. Just want to give you guys a chance to notice what's showing up in your own thoughts. All right. Come on up. And this time sit under your left hip and swing your legs around and come onto your back. Just roll down onto your back. And let's go right into bridge pose. Or you could do a wheel if that's a posture that is accessible to you. So bridge or wheel. Feet flat, lift your hips. If you're in bridge, maybe you clasp your hands and walk your shoulders toward each other. I don't teach wheel because I don't do wheel. It hurts my back. But if you do wheel, then go ahead and do it. I don't limit your practice based on someone else's body. Maybe lengthen your butt away from your spine. So you're trying to sort of uncurl your back. And then come on down. Release. Hug your knees in. And rock. Left to right a little bit. And your low back. Get a massage from the floor if that feels okay. And then, if you need to, look around and make adjustments based on where your furniture is. We're going to do plow and shoulder stands. So maybe move down on your mat if you need to, and hands flat using a little bit of momentum. Bring your feet overhead and toward the floor. Breathe. If your feet are on the floor, maybe you take a different hand position besides on your back. And then bring your hands onto your back if they aren't already. Shift weight into your hands. Come on up to shoulder stand, and we'll stay here for a few breaths. So this is a really important pose. In traditional yoga practices, this is called the queen of postures. Headstand is the king of postures, but my chiropractor says we shouldn't do headstand, it's bad for your neck. So maybe we could call this the king and the queen of postures. Breathe. Notice what happens when you stay in a posture, in a shape, longer than you want. Notice what shows up for you. And notice what shows up for you just on the other side of that as well. Drop your feet back to plow, put your hands on the floor, and roll down onto your back. When you get to your back, plug your right knee in. Spinal twist. Take your right knee across your body. Tee out your right arm, turn your head to the right. Send beautiful deep breaths down your spine. Home of your spinal cord. nervous system. Come back and switch sides, hugging in your left leg, and then sending it across your body. Gratitude for this vessel that carries us through this life, that has so many systems and functions that it just does all by itself. Thank you, body. That's so cool. And sorry I'm mean to you so much of the time. Come on back to center. Hug both knees in. Maybe even lift your chin up toward your chest. Come into some hug energy. And then bam, let it go. Shavasana. Final resting pose. Breathe deeply. Let your body relax. Just lay on the floor. Notice what you notice. Resist the urge to do anything, to fix anything. There's nothing to fix. Nothing to do except breathe. For a few more breaths, allow yourself to just be. And then begin to add movement. Make your way up to seated. And for a moment, if you have the time, come to a space of gratitude. I already invited us to be grateful for our bodies. You can continue on with that, or anything else for which you feel grateful. Just own it, embrace it, send it out. I am grateful to you guys every week for joining me on the mat. I think we're going to be virtual for a while. So, kind of sort of see you next week. Namaste. As always, questions or comments or feedback are welcome. I really mean it. Things you like, things you didn't like, things you might like to see more or less of. I don't know that I'm going to follow through with that, but it's a nice idea. And I would also love to try to answer any questions that you have about yoga or the Wellness Center or maybe Goka or the Ent Center. And if I don't have the answers for those, I will pass the Ent Center questions on to Daisy, who might be able to. Daisy, thanks for letting me share your Daisy energy today. All right, you guys, see you next week.